So as you can see, this is a cute little sheep on this box, and there's this cute little sheep's tail on the back of the box. This is just a cool box. And the game is called Cake Duel. In this world of Cake Duel, sheep are plentiful, but cake is not, and sheep fight against each other to claim cake. Because even though I don't like cake, I can see why people like cake. Yeah, that's right, I don't like cake. I'm weird. But anyway, so this game is a two-player game of bluffing and convincing people that you're lying, that you aren't lying through your teeth when you are, or maybe convincing people that you're lying through your teeth when you aren't. It's got a lot of that going on. There's been other games out there, obviously, that have had this whole like. Hey everybody, this is Cake Duel, and Cake Duel is a two-player game where each person is going to have sheep, and look at this box. I just want to show you this box real quick. So there's the sheep's cute little adorable face, there's the sheep's cute little adorable tail, and here are the sheep's cute little adorable feet. How awesome is this box? I just think it's cool. But anyway, Cake Duel is a game where each person, two-player game, where each person is commanding a team of sheep, and basically in this world where Cake Duel takes place, sheep love cake, but cake is very, very, it isn't very plentiful. There isn't a lot of it to go around. So teams of sheep fight against each other, attempting to claim all of the cake and have all the cake to themselves. So it is a game of bluffing and deception, but let me show you how the game is played, and we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, cool. Alright, this is Cake Duel, and this is the deck of cards you're going to start with. Each person's going to get 3 of these pieces of cake, and you want to defend those with your sheep's lives. Yes, sheep, as I said. That's the main deck. This is an advanced deck of cards that I'll show you here in just a little bit, but I want to just focus on the basic deck here, and just so you can get an idea of how the game is played. Cake Duel is played over a series of bouts. Bouts go by fairly quickly, so just keep that in mind. The best way to play this is like best out of 5, best out of 7, that sort of thing. So you and your opponent can kind of go back and forth and see who has the best ability as far as lying to your opponent and being able to play the cards, the perfect card at the perfect time, kind of thing. Anyway, so each person is going to get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just put these down here. Let me just see what I got. So I have a soldier sheep, he looks pretty cool, a defender sheep, little tongue, a scientist sheep, and an archer sheep. Now you can tell the soldier and the archer, they're attackers because they have a little attack there, and you can tell that the scientist and the defender are defenders. They also have certain abilities, like as attackers, both the soldier and the archer have the attack ability, and they have this steal one cake, so if they succeed in their attack, they're going to go ahead and steal that cake. The defender has the ability of blocking one attacker from stealing cakes, and the scientist says block 1, and that's the little symbol there. I'll show you the little symbols here. That will block a magical person from stealing 1 cake. So, and there are wizards that are located within the deck. That's where the magical comes in. All right, and actually, I should just show you this real quick. They give you a pretty cool little listing of the basic card set, and they actually tell you, soldier and wizard, they steal 2 cakes. Ooh, wizards are powerful. Then defender, scientist, and then there's Sir Wolfie, which I'll explain here in just a little bit. But anyway, so that's always helpful just to have that. And also, obviously, they have the numbers of how many of those are included in each deck. So, and that's important because of the fact that when you are the attacker, basically it's up to you to decide what you're going to say as far as what you're attacking with. Now, you can play 1 or 2 cards, but you have to state either truthfully what you're attacking with, or you have to lie. And if you're caught in a lie, you're going to lose. And so you can't say I have 1 soldier and 1 attacker. You can't say those 2 are attacking. But you could put these down and say I have 2 soldiers. But what happens is you put 1 card down, and you put that down, and you say attacking 1 soldier. Now let's just see what the other player has here. And so we're going to go ahead and look. And so, well, they have a defender, scientist, and oh, they got a wizard. So, ooh, look at him. He's chewing on his spell book there. But anyway, so now the player can say, well, I have a defender, and so they're going to go ahead and put that down and say, I have 1 defender. I'm going to block that 1 soldier. Now, if I believe him and he believes me, basically when I said I have 1 soldier, he has the option of basically, challenging what I placed. And when he places his blocker, he has the option of challenging. If you challenge somebody and it turns out to be correct, like you don't have a soldier, and you turn that over, and oh, you do have a soldier, you automatically lose the bout at that moment. So that's obviously a bad thing. Now, if you have this situation where both the players say, I have a soldier, I have a defender, we both agree with each other, nothing happens. It's just like, it's kind of like passing, so it's just like, you don't have to do anything. Now, if I had one soldier and this person hadn't played anything, and they had passed, and they said, you know what, fine, you have a soldier, then I get to use the soldier's power and take a cake from it. I don't have to show it, though. It's one of those things where you don't show. Now, for example, let's say then the two players, they reverse the order, and now this person becomes the attacker and the other person becomes the defender. So now if they say, let me find my deck of cards here. If this person plays their wizard, because the wizards can steal 2 cakes, as you can see. So they place this down, and they say, I have 1 wizard. Now, I can say, okay, they probably do. But if you play your scientist, you can say, I'm going to, I have 1 scientist. And now you have a situation where, if we both agree and we're not lying, wizard steals 2 cakes, the scientist only defends 1 cake, so then you take that cake back. Pretty straightforward, right? But now if it had a situation of, if I had 2 scientists, I could have played 2 scientists, and I could have said, I have 2 scientists, I'm going to block you. And then if the wizard didn't challenge me, I would have blocked him. So you can see that's where like the kind of like the lies and the trying to convince the other person of what you have and what you don't have is very, very important. There are, and that is, now there are ways that the challenge will end without a bout will end without a challenge. The bout will end if one of the players runs out of cakes, like the other person manages to steal all the cakes, then that bout will end. Or if both players pass, like nobody passes when they're doing their attack, and then the other person passes as well. If both players pass, then it results in no challenge happening, and then you just total up how many cakes each person has, and then whoever has more cakes at that point will win the challenge. Now, if it's tied, if people have the same number of cakes, then that bout is just a draw, and you're just going to go on and you're going to reshuffle and go through the whole process again. Now, I should mention, and I apologize for not saying this, I should mention that if you have a situation where there was no challenge, because remember, as soon as you say, I don't believe you have a wizard, and you turn it over and show, this person said I had a soldier, and I don't believe you have a soldier, and they turn over, it's a scientist, because you can play a defensive card and say it's an attack card. They don't know. They have no idea. As soon as as there's a challenge, the bout is over. It just determines whether or not the person was right when they're guessing whether the person was lying or not. As soon as that's done, you resupply up to 4 cards with the cards from the deck, and then you go at it again. It's just the only thing is that whoever was the attacker is the defender on the next round of the bout, and then you go back and forth. There could be a chance if nobody challenges and nobody ever thinks that somebody's lying, that you get through this deck of cards, and if that happens, it can happen, rarely, that one person gets to resupply and the other person does not, due to the fact that they take all of the cards from the deck. And that's completely normal, and you just keep playing as it is. So the game, as you can see, happens very quickly, and it is over relatively fast. And as I said, it's one of those games that you can deal up a game really quickly and be ready to go. I just wanted to show you Sir Wolfie. So Sir Wolfie is what's called an unclaimable card, meaning that you can't claim Sir Wolfie. You can't put a card down and say I'm using Sir Wolfie, nor can you put Sir Wolfie down and say I'm using a Sir Wolfie. You can't ever say this. But if you say use this as I'm defending, and you put this down, and this is a defender, and you go through, so you reveal the face up, you reveal it face up when you resupply at that time. So. But remember, this is you can't claim it, nor can you actually basically it's the invisible card. It forces you to lie. So then the other here. cards are, and then the reason why you turn face up, because normally, remember, you don't turn the cards face up during the resupply. The reason why you do that is basically so people know that the card has been used. You know, it's just a little bit of knowledge that you can use for later turns. So the other cards, and normally if you're going to be playing with the advanced cards, you just deal 2 of these into the deck, and you don't know which 2 they are, so you can kind of go through it. So here's the Quartermaster. You increase your hand size by +1 for the rest of the bout. Look at the opponent's hand, discard a card from it. Only you will resupply this turn. Very powerful, because then you'll know exactly what cards they are. The Assassin steals 5 cakes. Perot, unclaimable, just like Sir Wolfie. Become a copy of the attacker you claimed last turn. And Rebel, unclaimable. Rebel and Sir Wolfie become soldiers this turn. And then Angel, block all cake theft this turn. So, you know, just fun little added bonus cards that you can add in that are just going to kind of stir things up a little bit and add some replayability, which are really cool. Once I added these to the game like really became even more fun than it already was, and I really enjoyed those additions. So, I love games where it's bluffing. I mean, I play a lot of poker. I gamble a lot. So I do like the whole bluffing aspect of games. And I really, really enjoyed this one. Mostly because it was just kind of whimsical art and kind of goofy. But plus, it's one of those things where anytime a game puts me like against somebody else's will, you know, instead of like the mechanisms of the game, I have to actually defeat the other person and try to outguess them. I really enjoy games like this. But let me talk more about that in my final thoughts. I touched on the reasons why I enjoy this game a little bit in the gameplay portion, so I'm just going to kind of expand on that right now. Mechanisms within games that present the problems, present the puzzles to solve each and every turn. I enjoy those games. I enjoy figuring out the intricacies of things, but sometimes you just want to play a game that's really, really straightforward, and you want to try to convince other people of either what you have or what you don't have. And there comes a time when, like, yes, there's a little bit of card counting going on. You have that little symbol, and so, like, as people claim certain things during a certain bout, you know, it's like, well, you know, it's like if you just how many soldiers have people claimed? You know, obviously, you know, if there's 4 soldiers in the deck and you're on like your 5th or your 6th soldier, that somebody's saying, yeah, these are soldiers, then you know somewhere along the line, either they're lying now or they were lying before. And so you have that kind of knowledge in the back of your head, and you're trying to figure out if somebody is willing to lie now or earlier. Now, one of the things that I've always found neat, I remember, this is kind of an aside here, but my grandfather and I used to play the dollar bill game, where you look at the dollars and like you see how many 3s you have, you know, and how many like on the serial number, and like and we would always say, oh, you know, I have 2 3s, or you know, I have 3 5s, or something like that, and like until basically eventually like somebody would say you're lying or you weren't, and I remember my grandfather always used to tell me, always lie with the very first one, because of the fact that everybody's going to believe that you have what you say you have no matter what. But of course, you know, as soon as I did that the very first time, my grandfather said that I was lying, and he caught me in my lie, and he took my dollar. My grandpa was an awesome guy. But anyway, so the thing is that there's that aspect to the game as well. It's like, would you lie in the very first turn? Or do I think that you think that I'm lying on the very first turn? And then there's that kind of that weird game beyond the game kind of going on. And as you play successive bouts, you kind of learn a person's proclivities and the actions, and maybe like have a guess as far as where they're going to go or what they're going to attempt to do. Now, sometimes because of the fact that like you can see that the supply of the deck is growing low, and pretty soon you guys are end up passing, and you're going to the bout is probably going to be determined as far as by the number of cakes. Your hand is forced a little bit in some situations to claim certain cards you don't have, or just have to basically pick your moment to challenge and hope you pull off the win. But I think that adds a lot to the game as far as the timing, and as far as just recognizing the strategies as they see fit, and when they present themselves. And all in all, I mean, Cake Duel is just a lot of fun. I played the game several times with my friends. My wife and I enjoyed it a lot. My daughter, I can usually tell her read right through her when she's lying, so which is a good thing, right? Good thing. So maybe that wasn't the best game for her. But if I still worked at my boring corporate job, this would definitely be a game I'd bring with me to lunch, so I could just play it as I was eating my sandwich and talking to my buddies. So there you go. If you have any questions about Cake Duel, ask away. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, I'm the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.